เนี่ยมาคอนวินส์โพลิซีเมเกอร์แล้วก็อยากให้เขาใช้ฝึกใช้แดรี่เนี่ยค่ะให้มาเป็นซัพพอร์ตสำหรับ
ก็เมื่อกี้ก่อนนี้แหละ
ถ้าจะแนะนำก็เพราะว่าอาทิตย์นี้เขาต้องเขียนโพลิซีมาส่ง
ทำไมคีโนมี2 หน้า
อะไรครับ
คีโนตัวใหม่ด้วยตัวเก่าด้วย
ใช่คือคุณรอเขาลงมา
มันคนละวินโดว์กันเดี๋ยวนะ
ตามมาแล้ว
ตอนนี้ผมจะแชร์ตัวสไลด์พอมันไม่ไปสไลด์แผ่นได้ครับ
อาจารย์ก็อยากจะทดสอบสไลด์แผ่นสุดท้าย
หน้าสุดท้ายนะครับ
แผ่นสุดท้ายเลยนะหน้าสุดท้ายเลยมันจะมีลิงก์ที่อาจารย์ก็อยากจะให้มั่นใจ
แต่เพราะว่าตอนที่ฝึกสอน
ก่อนขึ้นไปกันเลย46 รูป10กันลองอันนี้เว็บลิงก์เข้าไปได้ไหม
เขียน
อ๋อ
เนี่ยแล้วมัน
อาจารย์ใช้แก๊ปไมเดอร์ไหมคะ
อะไรนะ
แก๊ปไมเดอร์แก๊ปไมเดอร์
การต้องแชร์ทั้งหน้าจอ
เป็นไทยสกรีน
แล้วก็ย่อ
อันนี้ไป
แก๊ปไมเดอร์ก็เป็นสถิติอาจารย์ที่แต่เป็นของคนสวีเดนการที่เมื่อกี้ของอาจารย์ใช้ของวอชิงตันใช่ไหมคะแต่แก๊ปไมเดอร์มันจะมี
ต้องเป็นคนรับอะไรมา
แล้วมันต่อตอนนี้มันต่ออินเทอร์เน็ตอยู่แล้วใช่ไหม
ต่อแล้วค่ะ
เดี๋ยวมดว่าเราเกิดไปดูลองคลิกตรงนี้เป็น
อาจารย์จะปรับตรงไหนคะ
เพสเนี่ยนะ
อาจารย์ลองแบบใช่ไหมคะ
นี่มันกด
Global Burden Disease
ไหนลองใส่นะเพสเนี่ยถ้าเกิดเราไม่ใช่เป็น global นะใส่เป็นฟินแลนด์มันมีนะเราฟินแลนด์ไทยท
ำตรงนี้นะคะโอเค
ใช่แล้วนี่เป็นฟินแลนด์ดารี่โอเคซึ่งตรงนี้มันจะมีชาร์ตโอเคนี่เป็นแก๊ปไมเนอร์ใช่ไหม
อาจารย์เคยเข้าไปไหมคะอันนี้เขาเป็นของคนสวีเดน
คนนี้เคยไปฟังเขาพูด
ค่ะ
งั้นเดี๋ยวอาจารย์ลองกลับไปที่ Burden of Disease นะเดี๋ยวจะ
ได้ค่ะนี่ลองของสวีเดนไหมคะก็ไม่ต่างกันมากเนาะ
ไม่ต่างกัน
เนี่ย
จะลองหาของที่หนึ่งถ้าไม่ใช่ สวีเดนใช่ไหมอันนี้สวีเดน
ไม่อันนี้ของสวีเดน
แล้วของฟินแลนด์
อันนี้ของสวีเดน
แล้วถ้าเป็นของฟินแลนด์
นี่ไง
คล้ายกัน
มันก็ไม่ต่างกันมากแล้วอาจารย์สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
ว่าจะให้อาจารย์เซฮัลโหลมาจากห้องอาจารย์สักหน่อย ฟังยังค่ะไม่เป็นไรค่ะเดี๋ยว
มันยังลิงก์ไม่ได้ใช่ไหม
ลิงก์ได้แต่ไม่ได้ยินเสียง
เสียงพวกนี้มีปัญหา
มันไม่
เสียงพวกนี้มีปัญหาแน่นอนก็จะเซตติ้งมันถึงจะได้ยินได้เครื่องนี้ได้เซตติ้งมันอินเทอร์แอคทีฟอย่างนี้
อินเทอร์แอคทีฟยังไม่ดี
เขาบอก
อันที่สองก็ยังมือกล้องเนี่ยมันก็ต้องเป็นว่าจะจับอะไรฟาดของนั่นเองเพราะว่าตอนนี้มันจับไม่ไปเนี่ยจะ
รู้แล้วเมื่อกี้ผมไปกดหยุดอันนี้ได้ละ
เอาตัวผมมาบ้างถ้าเอาแบบผมมาเนี่ย
อันนี้ค่ะของอาจารย์
จับไม่ได้ต่อไปไม่เป็นเล่นไม่เป็น
ดีนะคะอาจารย์
แจ็คไมเนอร์เหรองั้นเดี๋ยวอาจารย์ช่วยผมนิดนึงนะ
ได้ค่ะได้เดี๋ยวไป
ฟันเนี่ยถ้าไปทำน่าจะเยอะ
เมื่อกี้เรา
อย่างต้องเดินฟัง
เมื่อกี้เราจบตรงนี้
เมื่อกี้เราจบตรงนี้แต่ว่าผมจะแนะนำให้เขา
อ๋ออาจารย์จะไปหน้าสุดท้ายเลยใช่ไหมคะ
หน้าสุดท้ายก่อน
ได้ค่ะ
อาจจะเป็นนาทีน่าจะคูณ46 ล้านใช่ไหมอย่างผมนี่เบอร์ได้ดีที่ฟันนี่พุ่งกับมันตลอดทำแล้วทำอีกไม่ได้ปัญหาเยอะ
อาจารย์จะเอาตัวนี้ใช่ไหมคะ
ตัวนี้ก็ได้ครับไปก็ไซส์2เลยก็ได้
โอเค
3 คนที่มาเรื่อง
อ๋อเป็นนักเรียนแลกเปลี่ยนค่ะนักเรียนพยาบาล
ไซส์
3 เดือนค่ะก็ช่วงนี้เขามาขึ้นวอร์ดแต่ว่าตอนนี้เขายังไม่ได้ขึ้นวอร์ดก็เลยชวนเข้ามาอาจารย์เจ้านี้ใช่ไหมคะ
เว็บไซต์2
อ๋อไม่ใช่เอาเว็บไซต์2ดูกันนะอันนี้เรามีแล้ว
บอกว่าเป็นเทคโนโลยีของเขา
ตอนแรกเป็นเทคโนโลยีที่เป็นแบบ
อาจารย์เจ้านี้เนาะ
โคเปอร์แล้วก็เดี๋ยวถ้าเผื่อไปที่เพรสไปที่ฟินแลนด์ก็ได้
ได้ค่ะ
งั้นเดี๋ยวกลับไปที่โคเปอร์ก่อนนะแล้วก็เดี๋ยววานอาจารย์
ตรงนี้ใช่ไหมคะ
ก็เดี๋ยวบิ๊กเพรสแล้วผมค่อยให้อาจารย์ช่วย
ได้ค่ะได้ฉันโชว์นี่ก่อนเนาะ
ได้
เจอในเวลาหน้ากันมาแถบแฮงเอาท์ก่อนเมื่อกี้มันแถบวิดีโอ
Okay, welcome back to the second part of
เดี๋ยวเขาจะโชว์นี่ก่อน
I would like to suggest you if you would like to see the global picture of specific country burden of disease, you can go to the website.
Global burden of
this one,
disease.
visualizehealthdata.org. Global of disease. I leave this in the computer so you know that. They will show this in the diagram. Look at this diagram. There are 3 major areas. The first area, this one, this is a global overall global. This part is infectious disease and maternal and child health. Second part is the injury. And the third part is we call the non-communicable disease. So the overall global picture, you can see that this is 100%. Half of them are non-communicable disease, and maybe another 40% are infectious disease and maternal child health. Injury is not so many. This is the global picture. That try to compare the change during 2005 to 2010. And they use the color. The dark color mean is increasing. The bright color mean it is decreasing. So if you look at this one, you can see that for infectious disease, you see that TB, I think it is decreasing for TB because it's bright color. But for hepatitis B, it's increasing. Okay. Same. This one, congenital, is decreasing. But for this one, Alzheimer, is increasing. Okay, so this is the way you look at the comparison. Now, is this the global? We are going to see what happened in Finland. So Ajahn, can you go and then change this global to Finland? High income. Huh? Yes.
Rich. Yeah.
So for high income country in Finland, totally different. You see, very small all infectious disease so burden of disease from infectious disease and maternal and child health is not a big problem, but major problem on this. You have low back pain, you have Alzheimer, diabetes. What is MDD? I don't know. You can go into detail. And, what? Metabolic. But they already have diabetes here.
Metabolic disorder.
Is
Well,
it?
it can't be because you've got diabetes here.
Yeah, but they all pretty much come together. But it's a different one. It's just it's about when you meet sexual kind of habits that
Actually, MDD is major depressive disorder.
Oh, major
Depressive.
depressive disorder. Thank you very much. Oh, okay.
MDD.
Okay. So major depressive disorder is a big problem, and it is growing, increasing dark color, right? Alzheimer. Yeah, big problem. Alcohol. You have also a problem of alcohol, but I think it's a little bit decreasing. So you are doing better on controlling of alcohol. Ischemic heart disease, you're doing better, getting better. For those injury, falling, it's a big problem,
Like elderly?
Because the elderly is very.
Is that the reason that in your country, Finland, many people have falling injury for falling? Because in the mountain area,
no.
Eat too much.
yeah, or maybe because of aging.
Yeah.
When people get older, they always have some fall. So injury, major injury for fall is much more than road injury.
Yeah, it's really pretty tightly regulated. Our traffic, it's quite different when compared to, let's say, Thailand or India.
You don't have motorcycle.
We We do, but you can only drive them during the summer, so that's pretty short. At like 4 months or 5 months that you can drive them. So.
All right.
How many months a year that you can use the road very convenient?
It's pretty much year round, but you can't use motorcycles, of course. And if there's ice, you get them. So.
I see. That is an advantage. They can not use motorcycle. In our country, we have 18 million motorcycles. 18 million. And each year, a lot of people die from motorcycle crash. Drinking alcohol and then go motorcycle without the helmet. Okay. Now go to see Sweden. Sweden, อาจารย์ช่วยคลิก Sweden.
Not that much different.
Yeah, similar, huh? Similar. Okay. Same. Falling is burden of disease from falling is more than road traffic injury. But you have a lot of self-harm. Huh? The burden of disease from self-harm and road traffic injury is almost the same. At least you harm yourself, you don't harm other people. That's good. Okay, now see Thailand. So if we go to see Thailand. So in Thailand, we still have infectious disease. We have injury, but NCD is getting more and more. And we have a fall. Not so many road injuries. Big problem. We have self-harm and we have violence, harming other people as well. Okay. So you can go and see the detail, the profile of each country using this global burden of disease. Okay, let's see. Which country you would like to go?
Liberia.
Liberia. Okay. Go to Liberia. Okay. Liberia.
Let's see Ebola.
Whoa.
So infectious disease almost occupy everything. Burden of disease from infectious disease is still a big one in West African, African country.
How about Cambodia?
Cambodia, okay. So the pattern of disease is that when you getting rich, your economy is getting better. The infectious disease will be a better control, but you have more non-communicable disease and more injury.
See Iraq.
Iraq, okay.
Should be war, right?
IRAK. AQ. Yeah.
It's not more related. Not more related.
What happened? Okay.
You mean violence?
Violence is. Yeah. Okay. But keep in mind, this is done by the people in the university in the US, and they're gathering information. So we don't know what exactly the quality of the information of each country. So keep in mind that you may not be able to make a good comparison between countries, but at least in each country you can compare it. Okay, so visit this global burden of disease website, and then if you interest in some country, you just go and then take a look. Now, burden of disease, the most important thing we study burden of disease, not just to compare, but to solve the major problem. And that is our next part of our discussion. Let me bring you back to Thailand, and then we will share some example how we try to solve the cause of the burden of disease, and then we would like to hear from you as well. ออกได้ไหม
เดี๋ยวค่ะแป๊บนึงนะคะ
During the break อาจารย์น้อย asked me, so what is the meaning of exchange of life at the time, the year of disability with the healthy one? So she is interesting. As I mentioned to you this morning, it's very simple. The scientist just asked you, if you live with this unhealthy condition for 1 year, are you willing to exchange it for a full healthy 10 months, 8 months, 6 months, or 4 months? So you make decision, and then they just use this to calculate how many year loss. If you say that, okay, I don't want 12 months, I just want 3 months, this means that the other 9 months is your disability that you have lost it. So we use this 9 months combined with the year of loss from death. When you combine this, we call DALY, disability adjusted year. The more DALY is mean that the more problem. Okay, now if you want to solve the problem, you have to prevent it. So scientists try to look at all of those specific diseases, and they come up with this idea. They say that most of these problems are related to 12 or 15 risk conditions. Number one is alcohol consumption. If you drink alcohol, you have injury, you have many cancer, and you have many chance of getting unhealthy life. So they calculate it. They look at the number of burden of disease related to alcohol, and they have some idea what is the contribution of alcohol to those conditions. So they calculate that of those total DALY, about 15% of the total DALY are related to alcohol consumption. This in male and in female. Number two, tobacco smoking accounted about 11% in male and 2% in female. And then number three risk factor is high blood pressure. Number four is high BMI, overweight. And then not wearing helmet, unsafe sex, high cholesterol, low intake of fruit and vegetable, physical inactivity. So they calculate this, and this makes it easy for decision maker to invest. They don't invest on specific disease now. They invest on modify or minimize this risk factor. Once you control alcohol, then you reduce the traffic injury, you reduce the cancer, you reduce anything. So this is an approach that public health use. We call prevention. It's not on specific disease, but across the board. Does that make sense? So if you go to see a doctor, they treat you according to your disease. But for public health, we try to look at the underlying condition and try to address those conditions. So for Thailand, suppose you are our Prime Minister, you know, the General Prayut, who is very strong, very powerful. He can control everything. Ajahn Supachai, you should go to see the Prime Minister and you say to our Prime Minister, hey, Mr. Prime Minister, you know, Thailand, we lost about 10 million dali. And 15% of this dali is into alcohol. If you order no selling of alcohol overnight, then you save million of life.
People will bring the alcohol themselves. That happened in USSR. I was there. All the sugar disappeared from the market. People just use it for self doing alcohol.
Yeah. That is a fact of life. It's solving the public health problem is easy just to go to the Prime Minister and ask him to order something. Then all of the problem can be solved within a month. But because it's very complicated. So we have to design the intervention according to the culture, to the situation of each country. Let's look at this problem, alcohol. How can we solve this? We try very hard, you know, to pass the law, to ban the advertising, but it's not success. We will take an example of alcohol. Just your information. International have commitment with the UN. They will try to reduce the global NCD burden of disease by 2025, and they have set this, they call the 9 global target. What are those 9 global targets? First, they want to reduce premature mortality from NCD, 25%. Premature death, I think they use a definition that if you die less than your life expectancy. For example, in Thailand, we should die at 70 years. If you die before 70 years, it means premature death. So in Thailand, we should reduce this premature death by 25%. Number 2, harmful use of alcohol, 10% reduction. So we have to do a survey how many people drink alcohol in a harmful way and reduce it by 10%.
What's the difference between harmful use and safe use?
Oh, very difficult question for me because I did not do. I'm kidding. I think our friend can give more explanation. What is the difference in your country? Harmful drink and social drink, acceptable drink. How many gas are you? Yes.
Oh yeah, if you have like a, let's say a week, you can have like for man you can have 7 portions once, or I think it was, or was it as much as 18. But research show that if you really look at how healthy, let's say one beer is, if you have one beer, it's pretty much plus minus. You have some antioxidants in it, which is somewhat healthy, and and the alcohol, the amount isn't really that high. So one is okay, or if you have 3 in a day, one per 1 big meal, and that's still plus minus. But
But boom, you can have 3 glasses. Like a big bag.
Good question. So I leave this for your homework. Huh? You go to see the definition. There are 3 definitions of alcohol. One is they call it a normal drink. So this is acceptable. I cannot remember is this a 1 or 2 gas per man per day. Huh? But if you drink at one time more than 5 glass of beer, they call binge drinking. Yeah. But and if you drink these most of the week, they call harmful drink of alcohol. So that quantified. I cannot remember the number. Please, when you go back, you look at the definition, and tomorrow you come to share.
In some UN meeting, when they debate about the use of alcohol, many countries stand that there is no harmful drink of, no safe drink of alcohol.
Ah, yes.
They just drinking alcohol is unsafe. Harmful use is a compromise word.
Ah, okay, okay.
It's backed by the Western country.
Ah, okay.
You go to the Muslim state, they will say that no use of alcohol.
Ah, okay. Good. Yep. Yeah. But for the global, I think they classify this into harmful use and normal.
Because it's dominated by the Western world, by the alcohol company.
Good. Okay, the third target is physical inactivity. We have to reduce this 10%. Sodium intake. Oh, this is very new for us. You know, there is some survey that most Thai people eat salt more than by average. By average, we should have about 2,000 milligrams of sodium. But most people, myself, I have a test last month, and I eat by average 3,500 milligrams. More than it should be. Why? You know, most of the salt in Thailand come from the fish sauce, and then น้ำจิ้มเขาเรียกอะไร
Chili sauce. Chili sauce.
Yeah, you know, when you go to this, you have food and then you put some other sauce. That's a lot of.
Also, mostly this
Which one? Oh yeah, this one. Okay. Tobacco use 30% reduction. This one is easy. There is no safe use of tobacco. Yes. Raise blood pressure, high blood pressure. We have to reduce it by 25%. Diabetes, obesity, 0% increase. Why? You know, why? The target is so very, very not challenging. Zero growth. It means if you can keep the level, it's very satisfying because it is increasing trend. So if you can halt the trend, stop the trend, it's okay. And then accessible to drug therapy and counseling, 50% coverage. And the last one is accessible to medicine and technology, 80% coverage. So this is a global target. The implementation is depend on each country. So we are exploring this one. Let's see the problem in Thailand. Oh, before that, let me introduce you a new concept. My background is infectious disease. And in infectious disease, you have this term, foodborne disease, waterborne disease, vector-borne disease, mosquito-borne disease. The concept is that you have to understand what are the major vehicles that bring the infectious disease to the people, and then you control that. Dengue is a mosquito-borne, so we have to control the mosquito. One day, I looked at this non-communicable disease. This is business-borne disease. Why? You see, take an example of tobacco. The tobacco is coming from the company, and the company is the one who try to promote tobacco to the people. In this case, the company is the mosquito, right? Bring the tobacco to the people. Some people use lifestyle disease. That is not true. Because when they use the lifestyle disease, it means that you have to take care of yourself. But if we name this business-borne disease, it means that no. The most important thing we need to do is control the business. Not changing, not try to educate the people. Hey, you have to avoid tobacco. Tobacco is not good. Tobacco is not safe. I leave this for your information. I propose this term. I send this to the Lancet Journal. That's it. We are not the place to selling idea. We are the place for clinical demonstration. So now I sent it to the WHO journal last week. Try to mention that most NCD are business-borne disease. If we want to overcome NCD, we need to study about business, not study about the diabetes, not study about the hypertension. We have to study the business. And how can you study the business? For vector-borne, mosquito-borne, malaria, you need to totally understand the life cycle of the mosquito, right? So business-borne disease, you have to understand the life cycle of the business. And the life cycle of the business is very simple. They mentioned the 4P life cycle. First, the business, they have to produce something. So their product should be very sexy, should be very, attractive. So they design the bottle, they design the cigarette, they design the packaging. So this is called the product. Then they set the price. It should not be too high. It should be cheap enough so that all teenagers can buy it. So they set the price. Number 3, they have to put this product very near to their customer. So they have to have many outlets, make it very convenient for people to buy it. And number 4, they do advertisement, promotion, invest a lot of money on advertising so that people know that product, know the price, and know where to buy it. So this is the life cycle of the business. If you want to control the business, similar to control the vector, the mosquito, you just put intervention on those important life cycle. And that is why when they design this packaging, very sexy, very attractive. So we put the warning. In some country, that's a plain packaging, no any symbol to minimize the effect of pressure. So we have to do this. They try to set the price very cheap. So we have to increase the price. So we less the tax. And I'm going to listen to you about the tax on sugar. So we have to less the tax. Unfortunately, you know, these people, they are very clever. The lobby in Thailand is totally different from other country. Other country, they call the minimized pricing. For cigarette, you cannot sell below this. You have to put it higher. So in Thailand, we do it in a different way. We call the selling. You cannot tax more than this. It should be minimized taxing and then going up. But in Thailand, you cannot tax it more than this level. You know why? Because the tobacco company in Thailand is run by the government. So they put this law so that they know that the taxation will go up to this. Then the press, we try to ban. You cannot sell tobacco in this, but we cannot because it's a freedom. So we just do banning this place to smoke. Like in this campus, this is a smoke-free campus, right?
Certainly. In principle, it's smoke-free.
Okay. And promotion, we try to do total ban, but we cannot. For cigarette, it's okay, but for alcohol, we cannot pass the law on total ban. Total ban. This means that you cannot advertise. But they are very smart. You know, let's say, okay, we can put the symbol of the alcohol if that promote the culture. Oh, this is very broad. If you promote the culture, so you can see the movie. They have a very good, beautiful Thai dancing, and that is up with this alcohol drinking. Okay. Think about this, right cycle of business, and when you do intervention, counter to the business, product, price, place, what they do, you do it in the opposite way.
It's a lot of work.
Now, let me give you one example. The alcohol in Thailand, they are very smart people. They put alcohol and culture the same thing. They say that alcohol is the culture of the man. Alcohol is the culture of the village people. This, I hope when your team visit Pisonoro, when are you going to Pisonoro?
Next week.
Next week. Oh, that is good. During this rainy season, at the end of the rainy season, there is a boat racing. Every province in the northern part of Thailand, including Pisonoro, there will have this boat racing. And boat racing is the right of the villager. People waiting for this festival. And during the year, they practice boat racing. Very big festival. So all of this festival is sponsored by alcohol companies. And we can see that They make a very nice Vithi Thai style, Thai lifestyle, and they put the logo of the alcohol. So people perceive this as lifestyle. Alcohol is a lifestyle. I give you one example about this boat racing in Nan, the northern part of Thailand. This is the prevalence of alcohol drinking. Half of the people in Thailand, by average, especially in this northern, half of the people are very familiar with alcohol drinking. The question is why people are so familiar with alcohol drinking. This is boat racing. It's a 1 month boat racing. And can you read what is the behind? What do you see? You can read chat.
Now I recognize you.
What is that one?
Elephant.
Yeah.
And what is that symbol for?
It's beer.
Beer. Yes. It's beer. So along both sides of the river, there have been advertising. This is the hero of the people. Those who are boat racer is the hero. Teenager would love to be one of the boat racer. And you see, these boat racer, they are sponsored by the beer company. So they put the beer inside the boat. When they finish celebrate with this beer. So they're getting into the mental mindset of the teenager. And you see, their parents, everyone drink beer. Also the mother, the fathers. So when you are the boy and you live in this condition, you are formed to believe that this is the lifestyle of the people of the Thai people. Now, how can you counter this? How can you change this culture? Let me ask our social scientist, behavior scientist, who is a behavior scientist. Maria?
Well, it's difficult because, as you say, it's culture. We have the same in Sweden. Like every time there's a social event, there's always alcohol. So I don't know. Actually, it's really actually when it was yesterday that that's like wow. Yeah, that's so strange for many people. Yeah. So, but doing these kind of events, I think you show the people that it's alright to have social events or even parties without alcohol. I think you need to be. I think you need to dare to be different. To do
To be different.
Yeah, to do something that might seem very extreme. To get people to look at different because, like you said, it's very cultural. To change a culture is very difficult. Yeah, it's very hard to change. What can you sell instead? And the government needs to be behind it as well. As you said, like the government is standing behind the tobacco companies and the maybe the beer companies as well, and they still want to make the health better. I think maybe they should decide if they want to stand by the companies or
also when you drink alcohol, you think about, it's not like you beer, so you feel bad. So you drink it, it's a rush. Yeah. And the social, yeah, social.
Yeah, actually, we have this rather strange phenomenon that underage drinking and young adults it has been decreasing quite a lot. It has been somewhat replaced by different kind of culture that I'm just training quite a lot. It's just how should say like healthy, like healthy lifestyle. It's a lot more cool in some circles than alcohol. And I read this article that it might have something to do with social media. It's really important to look good and to have a really good image of yourself.
Very difficult. You know, the company, they have to get the permission from the governor and from the authority in that area to put this branding. They say, we sponsor this festival, we support the culture of Thai. So that they pay about $1 million for the festival. Just allow them to put this brand. And certainly the provincial, they need money to do this. So they accept this funding in exchange. So if you go to ask the governor, don't allow this company, but we have to run this festival. Where is the money to come? So this is a big problem. But in this case, what happened is that we have a good provincial chief medical officer. And in Thailand, there is one system we call the SINTAC. SINTAC means that we will use 2% of the taxation from the tobacco and from the alcohol, pool it and do it as a health promotion funding. There is a board. So they make a decision. First, I'm not fully agree with them, but finally I think you need to do this kind of thing. So there is a negotiation with the governor. Hey, let's do some win-win situation. Don't accept the money from the alcohol company, but we pay you. They give you 1 million. We don't have 1 million. We give you 500,000, but you don't allow them to do this advertising. So yes, it's okay. It's a win-win. Win-win because they get some money and they do something that is good in terms of the image, protecting health. So if you don't have 500,000, they will not work with you. So in this case, they set aside and they ask every province, if you want to do alcohol-free boat racing, you can apply the funding from us. So this is a tactic. I don't know what happened in your country. So in this case, the governor agreed to do this. They say, we will set a new culture, free alcohol boat racing. This is the baseline. Oh, sorry. They have 156 outlets selling this alcohol at the beginning. But after a couple years, when they do this campaign, no alcohol, and they don't allow advertising, for 2 or 3 years, the number of the outlet is decreasing. And the most important thing is that in the old day, during this festival, you have hundreds of people have injury due to alcohol consumption, either by traffic injury or fighting with each other. But once you do this, you can demonstrate to the public that finally, when you get alcohol out, injury is decreasing as well. So this is the evidence. This is not an easy thing. You need social scientists, you need community participation, you need some leaders who have a leadership to do something. You mentioned that dare to do something different. So they start to do this in some province, but it's still very, very small when compared to the situation of the whole country. Okay, I stop there. And can you share with us about some example in your country, how you try to reduce the burden of disease in Finland or in Sweden? Give one example of the problem.
One thing in Sweden is done by 7-Eleven. You have to go to a certain store and it's only open certain hours. So the tax on alcohol. Yeah, like beer.
So you have some certain taste.
Yes, it's a special store. You have to be 20 years to be able to shop in the store. But it's a little strange though because when you go out with the club, you can be 18. Yeah, so it's a little. So we try to reduce people picking up on the phone without being able to control. So that's why money only certain times. You know, like shop is not good for like 24/7. So you cannot feel in the middle like, okay, I can go buy. You have to plan. Yeah. But I don't know if it helps really, but that was the plan. To make people feel less.
Limiting the time.
Limit the time.
In here, midnight you can go to the 7-Eleven.
Here, yeah.
You are.
But not after midnight.
No, 7-Eleven 24 hours.
But after 12, I think after 12 they cannot sell alcohol instead of liquor.
Huh?
Is it?
Yeah.
Last year,
Let's try. Midnight. Yeah. Midnight. Quickly you go to the nearest 7-Eleven.
No.
But also, I see sometimes they put the sign, we don't sell alcohol in these hours. When we went to the site, we wanted to have a drink to the dinner, and then we got it, and they sold it. So it was very.
Actually, already have the declaration that no selling of alcohol within 1 kilometer of the university.
Oh, okay.
But it's difficult to enforce.
Many generations.
That is good initiation. You try to have an area, but 500 half kilometer or 1 kilometer you cannot sell still or
It's a natural no alcohol shop.
I do have to say that we have some similar system as Henry, that we have this government control shop, and all the tax revenues also go to government, of course. That's the only place where you can buy hard liquor. You can buy beer from a regular shop. But the thing is, when you raise the alcohol taxes, British people are thinking, well, that's too expensive, so they don't actually go there. They go to Estonia. They're coming here next to us because it's half. I think it's even cheaper than half as cheap. Well, it's twice more expensive in here, at least. To buy alcohol. In Estonia, you can buy things with pennies. So people go there and buy like a car full of alcohol and bring it back to them. They have like, they can have, no, they have half the kitchen for beer or something.
Sweet people go to Germany. Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah.
It's Germany.
Denmark. So there's a backlash. I think the government creates like a that people create their own way to do it. The habit is still the same.
When you think about it, it's completely logical that people aren't stupid. So why would they buy twice as much if they can just go on one trip and get the other from another country? So why not?
We have like ferries between Sweden and Finland, the last tax-free.
Tax-free.
Yeah, we have come to Finland. So you don't need to
Yeah, people go to buy that.
Or cross the border.
Yeah, that's in the middle of the city. They open a tax-free shop. It's not alcohol. Actually, buy.
It's like in Cambodia and Thailand.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the big change.
Yeah.
You go there for casino.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
That is why they say that if you would like to reduce the burden, you cannot do it by only one country. You have to do it internationally. Locally. That is why you come to this course. International health. Because you know that if you do it in one country, no success. You have to do it globally. Okay. See how. This is beer, huh? How about this one? Obesity. Is this a business-born disease or a lifestyle disease? Huh? Lifestyle. Why you think it's a lifestyle? Give some explanations. When we say lifestyle, it means that it's the responsibility of each individual. It's your lifestyle, so you have to be responsible. But if we say it's business-born disease, it means that your lifestyle is influence, is under the influence of the business. So it's not totally your fault. They have to take main responsibility. So this is the difference between the term lifestyle disease and business.
Like Thai style, we usually have sweet after our big meal. So it's our lifestyle to have it. So like me, after my meal, I like to have some fruit or some sweet thing.
Okay.
I try to stop it, I know, because it's bad for my health, but it's for normal people. Try to have sweet.
Good. I think you are right. For Thailand, this kind may be lifestyle because you cook by yourself. If you cook it by yourself, then it's lifestyle. But once our society is changing until you don't have the chance to cook by yourself, you buy everything. And we are moving in that way, right? You don't cook in the lunch, you buy it. When you go back home, you buy it. So this is not lifestyle. It's a business. Now, yes, please.
Yeah, I think it's also, I don't think it's completely business-born disease in every country, but I think a good example is the Philippines. And it was kind of, for a certain reason, it was Americanized, the whole food culture, and there's pretty much nothing but fast food, and people are just getting obese at a really, really alarming rate. There's just pretty much nothing but big, like American companies sandwiches,
Mm.
hamburgers, pizzas, and you can see it in the population. They start to look like the infrastructure. So I think in that case it's almost completely recyclable.
Yeah.
In America, yeah, it's
But in America, I think it's both as well because when you're poor, it would be cheaper for you to buy. Yeah. So then they probably don't have a choice. They have to buy like this fast food, and then it becomes a lifestyle, but it's also the business who makes it.
in the US, I think you can buy right now like $3.50 or something. You can buy a meal. I think in Finland that same one would cost like $10 or something. So it's kind of so.
Why is it so expensive?
Well, taxes is one. Salary is one tax, but otherwise, yeah, it's and of course the meat is one also. In US, the producing of meat is I think it's pretty horrible, but it's also a lot cheaper than that's also one reason.
This is very interesting thing to think about this. And in some, like the US, I think this is most of the overweight are due to the consume some fast food. They don't have any choice. They just go to the McDonald's or pizza and eat all of this. And they design the design promotion very clever. You cannot buy only one piece of this, but it comes with a set. This one plus Pepsi, and then plus another thing. So you buy a package. You cannot just say, I want only this. So the design of this make people more vulnerable. More vulnerable. Once you buy, you eat. Like this one, I think that we have some picture. They have this small, medium, and jumbo size, and they put the price of this jumbo
They're the same prices.
almost the same. So people more tendency to buy the jumbo size, and once you buy the jumbo size, you eat it all. So this is very clever design. Clever design. I heard that in Finland, you make taxation on sugar. Can you share with us?
Yeah, well, I think it's not. Well, I don't think it's big. There's a lot of diabetes, and metabolic disorder, obesity, and cardiovascular diseases. And I think it all comes together. And when you think about blood sugar, it's not that different from tobacco or alcohol. So I think it was quite natural at some point, but it was primarily targeted at like candy, sweets, and ice cream, and sodas, after that. So of course, you don't know how it works. There's the taxation of cigarettes. I don't really know how it actually works. It just becomes more expensive, but I don't think that percentage has come down that much. So yeah, but of course, that's the sugar tax is really new. I think it was 1.5 years ago. Yeah, so we don't really know how it affects it.
And the reason they put this tax because they don't want people to eat.
The health effects, of course, it costs a lot for the government for people who have diabetes. I think it's in 2015. The cost of diabetes medicine alone will be €1 billion. So that is huge. So if people had less diabetes, of course, it would be cheaper for the next.
Good. Let me ask.
Let's see.
Yeah. Let me ask our friend who is dentist. Dentists are very strong advocator for less sugar. Right. They have a very good program in the school. The dentists in the province, They go outside, they go to the school, and then they do teaching the student to brush the teeth every day after lunch. But they face another dilemma. So every school there is a selling of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and all candies. You know why? Why these soda are available very easily in the school?
School, the one who sell it, teacher who sell it.
Correct.
Someone gets with confidence.
The school needs some funding to buy car, to buy equipment, and the government did not have a good support. So this company, they go to the school, to the principal. We give you each year 100,000 baht, so that you can use this for funding for everything to be good for the student. But just allow us to put the soda, sell it in your school. Many schools, most of the schools, engaging in this funding from the soda company. And this form the habit of the student, right? By physiology, if you eat sugar for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you are familiar. Your taste buds are familiar with this. So you would favor to eat this for the whole of your life. So they are very clever. They want to make a habit of sugar eating in the school, so that they will have a long-term client. So you have a big challenge. You just teach the student to teach the brush. It's not enough.
Isn't education help?
That is education help
No, I mean, can we give education to the students?
to the
How to
student.
buy it, how to buy it? Can we teach them
Yeah.
how to buy proper drinks, proper food, and
Yes.
like that?
Yes.
This is education's problem, not company problem.
And that you believe in that that education is
Yeah.
strong factor to change the behavior. Let's ask our behavior scientists.
Yeah.
This behavior are influenced by knowledge, by education, or by circumstance.
I think you have to educate, but also there's our own responsibility from the business as well. Like, 'cause all the business put sugar in their products, so we want more. So I think, but we have to teach our children and population what these does to your body as well. So we understand, but you can't just. I think you have to combine.
Good. Very good. Very good. I agree. But only education is not enough. If you have 100 people, you give education only 10% who perceive it, accept it, and practice it. The other 80% then need some more supporting. Education is not enough. There needs some enforcement. There needs some circumstance to build their behavior. So think about this. And in Thailand, when we propose something, we always say that we will based on health education, and that is not enough to solve the problem. But it is a must. I think it's a fundamental. But you have to add something.
But, even law, quite often it does not work.
Yes.
We have a lot of law against tobacco. Tobacco sales still rising.
Yeah.
I think that's where we try to really be problem with how useful like education can be. If you have some sort of product that has some sort of fixing limits, like sugar, like tobacco, like alcohol. I don't think that it helps this, because I think everybody knows, a lot of people know, oh, let's say maturity, what the effects are. If there's the addiction, it's just not all around the knowledge of that how long bad it is for you. So I think the only way to reduce smoking, reduce eating sugar, I think the only way is just to keep it simple with these products, especially white sugar, as it's just really easy to get, let's say, for companies to get customers to consumer. If they start eating white sugar from a really young age, they will develop an addiction. That has been proven. And for a lot of the big part of emotion, it's designed by psychologists to affect symptoms. That's where we should like. That's where we should go.
Yeah. You mentioned about this health promotion and the Ottawa Charter. You remember the Ottawa Charter? They say that the fundamental of health promotion, they have this education, but they use the term conducive environment. The environment is very important. Let's see my bad example. I know that this is not good. This is not good. It's not necessary. But when they serve me, first I say, okay, I will take only half. But it's so good. So finally I end up with this whole. Suppose you did not give me. You just bring this water and this. I don't have any chance. So circumstance is very important. See, I promised myself this morning that I will never take any snack. But this is so strong, so strong. Passion. Out of 100 people, there may be 10 people who have very strong determination. One they say no, it will be no. But 90%, if they say no, that can change their mind. Okay.
But we can use social control.
Social control.
When you look at the Muslim people, when they stay in the social meeting, they don't take any alcohol.
Yeah.
They may with their alcohol, but they in social control.
Yes, that is true. Peer pressure, right?
Also this week in Thailand, almost many people just take a vegetable.
Yes.
Vegetable week. So it's increased the number of people who want to eat vegetable food.
Yes.
So you can decide this social event
To
make awareness and what is like here.
Yeah. Good. Okay, let's go to the last, I think. So, all of us would like to solve the problem. To solve the problem, you have to you need to know the magnitude of the problem, and you need to know what are the determinant or the root cause of the problem, and then you try to solve it. But to successfully did it, you need to have good knowledge. No question. We always have good knowledge. Then you need some political support. Big problem, because political people may not support the healthy lifestyle. They have more tendency to compromise the benefit. So you need social movement. And in our friend country, you have very strong social movement, right? People can voice their concern, and the government have to listen to the people. But in our situation, people listen to the government. This is different. Anyhow, think about this. And you did it in every country, huh? So that it can be a success in solving the problem. So I think I finished my talk on the burden of disease, and we still have 1 or 2 questions. If you have some comment, please. Any doubt on this burden of disease?
We were talking about time limited for selling alcohol in Thailand. Is there any time limited every day?
Oh yes, we
From
have
2 to 5, right?
For the department store, huh? You cannot buy it in some period of time. You can buy it, I think, on 2 to 4 to 5. I'm not sure.
2 and 5.
2 and 5, you buy 2 and 5. Okay. Limiting the time. This is your homework, huh? You go and then come and share. Yes.
In Thailand also, milk, baby formula, it's banned for sugar. Sugar not allowed.
Dr. Supachai, remind me. This is one of the good things he did during his term as the Secretary of Food and Drug Administration. So that he changed the regulation, not allowed to add sugar in baby formula.
But I try to put the warning about nicotine in Coca-Cola. All these soda drinks really have nicotine. Coffee. And normally we don't allow them to drink coffee. But still, Coke is promoted consumer. But it didn't succeed in this time. It was strong resistance.
Taxation of sugar is very tricky in Thailand. They want to raise tax on sugar. Added when we add sugar, we have to tax it. And the Department of Consign Tax, they say no, we cannot do that because sugar is considered to be the common commodity for lay people. If you raise the tax on sugar, then the people are more burdened because they have to use sugar in their daily life. So this is very key. You cannot raise any tax on sugar.
Can we raise tax on sugar products like candy and sweet things, snack and things like that instead of just pure sugar?
I think you have to discuss with the people from the parliament. A good idea. I don't know whether it is possible. They have some.
Then you meet the resistance from the sugar farmer.
Oh yes.
Every year the government faces the problem with all this farmer.
But there's an example. I mean, in Finland, there has been a lot of discussion among politicians that is it okay to raise taxes of tobacco because most of the smokers vast majority of smokers are mostly of the lower income. Are poor people, so that money is away from them. So that's another question. So I think that could be related to the sugar question also. So it's I'm really glad about the politician. You can't really please anyone.
Okay. So I think we are running out of time. I would like to thank everyone for your active participation, and we learned a lot from cooperation and this content. So thank you, and wish all of you good luck. Have a good stay in Thailand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ขอบคุณค่ะ writing a policy brief, I would like for you to mention, something that have to do with the prioritization, and also use them as some of the support.